Have you learned how to say no? I'm sure you have learned it. If you go and ask ChatGPT or on internet 100 ways to say no, you're gonna figure out there are many different ways where you could say no to a certain activity or task. But have someone taught you how to say no when your performance is being watched? How to manage your workload when your performance is on radar, especially on these times when every employer is monitoring their employees' performance closely. Managing your workload becomes even more important. And your goal is to get clarity and manage your work without creating any further doubts. So, tip number one, over communicate. Don't shy away from over communicating on what's on your plate. Instead of managing the scope quietly, make your workload visible. You could say, happy to take this additional work on. Could we together sit on it and prioritize it? When you are being watched, silence is being treated as weakness, as avoidance. When you create visibility, it is treated as ownership. There are various examples while you are already working on a project and you attended a client meeting and boom, you got an additional task. You cannot push back immediately. However, you could definitely say something like this. Happy to take this on. Right now, I'm leading a UAT for a customer, managing escalations and our sprint reviews is nearby. Can we together prioritize it so that nothing gets slips or nothing falls through the crack or the ball do not get dropped? You might have heard of these languages often. When you call out for a prioritization, then the additional task coming on your way will not slip. This makes your judgment clear, visible, instead of making it look like that you are dodging the work. Number two, let your manager take a trade-off call. So remember in tip number one, you got an additional task and you spoke to your manager saying that could we prioritize it together? So don't stop there. Go do an extra mile. In tip number two, you must send a short email or a note to your manager stating, confirming I will prioritize X over Y based on our conversation. This isn't about protecting yourself politically, it's about creating visibility, generating clarity, and creating ownership. This will ensure that the ball do not get dropped and the communication is on the record. So that was tip number one, tip number two. Tip number three is even more important. Don't buy time, show momentum instead. And what does this really means? There are, when when you get a next step, when you get an unexpected task or next step, most of the time many people say, I would get back to you. We would deal with it later. Instead, instead you should say, I should start on this work as soon as my current responsibilities of UAT, sprint reviews and escalation is done. In few days, I will take this up from probably Wednesday or Thursday. How does this sound in comparison to I will do it later? Let's assume a scenario. Your skip level or another stakeholder pings you and say, hey Arun, could you take this up? Looks like an important task. Instead of that, you could say, I can jump over a short call in about 30 minutes from now and we could actually discuss what needs to be taken care. I am right now dealing with a release checklist or helping the team plan for an important sprint review. Now, tip number three will create an impact that you are not delaying a task assigned to you by your skip level, but you are giving him a clarity or you're giving her a clarity that you have got work in hand. And yet you are ready to kind of pick up another task after having a verbal conversation. Tip number 4, ask what does good looks like. When your performance is on radar, it's very important that you should have clarity of what is good for you. And trust me, often nobody has that answer. Even your boss, even your super boss, sometimes they may not have clarity of what is good for you. So, by asking the specific question, you are inviting a conversation and generating a clarity on what few things you should do, which will have the biggest impact in the month. And that conversation will basically show ownership and clarity. This statement shows that you are aligning to what is being asked for. And this is what a performance reviewer wants to see: alignment. How quickly you align to things. Take a case, you sense that your work is closely being observed and you gonna figure that out. Nobody have to tell you that your work is being observed. The moment you have a sense of it, rather than just working hard, taking up more work, trying to finish everything through the deadline, ask your boss a question. Ask your manager a question. Between the escalation, between the process document and mentoring the new project manager, what is most important right now? What will create a biggest impact? And you don't try to assume the answer. Get that answer. Once you get that answer verbally, document that answer and send a note. Hey, among the top 3 priorities, I'm going to prioritize A, B, or C. When you are on a radar, it's not about doing more work. It's not about doing hard work. You must also show the work and not just do the work. So find your ways how you could show your work to the management. So find out ways how you could display what you're doing. Never work on actions or tasks which nobody knows. Your job is to make it visible. So when you are going to office tomorrow or next week, ensure that there is a way so that your work gets visible. See you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.